Okay.
All right, guys. So we are back. We are working through some technical difficulties, as you guys can understand this kind of thing. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but we are going to try to make it work. How about now? We there, Gary? No, still working. So, there we go. Yep. All right. Copperhead Metal Detecting says good to go. Um, and it's hot in Tennessee. So let's see. We're gonna see if Gary's here. We're pulling him up. Um, I uh, I just wanted to share. Um, Thanks, Diggin Canuck. Sound perfect. I've never been told that in my entire life. Um, so this is what we're working with right now. Um, you hear Gary?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right, we got it. Hey, third time's a charm. Let's go ahead and look at that. All right, we are back. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it work. I appreciate each and every one of you who has stuck through, who is now sending me text messages about getting my stuff together because they made popcorn. So Gary's a highly anticipated guest. But that's how this stuff works. Gary does incredible miniatures. He's been metal detecting for a long time. Gary, why don't you tell us about how you started metal detecting? We kind of got through part of it, um,
Yeah. Okay.
but let's go through it. You said so. You started basically geocaching, right?
Right. That's correct. Yes. Yeah, we were living in Japan at the time, being a military family, and once we rotated back to the States, geocaching in the States wasn't as fun as it was in overseas in Japan. So I just
Why was that?
one
Because
Christmas.
I've never personally
Well,
geocached.
well, being I was in Okinawa, Japan, and it's an amazing island. It's pristine beaches, caves, very historic, and it was a lot of fun. And once we moved to States, and it was like in a it was in Virginia, but close to like Fairfax area. It just didn't have the magic. So then we moved to my wife was still on active duty. We moved to Texas, and in Texas, I bought a detector. Then things started to get pretty interesting. We started making a lot of really good finds and learning, about the hobby and so forth and so on. And eventually, we moved to Florida, and Florida is just it's an awesome place to detect it. I mean, we can do it all year round. Um, we got amazing beaches nearby, great park system, and it's really good being in Florida and being a detectorist in Florida.
So, when I was putting all this stuff together, I put that you were a beach hunter, but you're not a beach hunter at all, are you?
I can't stand the beach, man. No,
Why is that? Is that just like you are in like the greatest place to beach hunt in the world? You have
I
the
know.
Treasure Coast, you have the 1715 fleet, you have so many tourist beaches, and don't get me wrong, like the only reason I dig jewelry is to either A, let my wife have it, which is what happens 90% of the time, or B, to sell it.
Yeah,
So I understand that.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We got great beaches. We got Tampa, we got New Smyrna and Daytona. I mean, you could drive on the beach. I mean, who doesn't love that?
Right.
But I just don't have any luck there. Once I picked up the CTX, at least I was in the game to be a beach hunter. And I got a couple gurus in my club, one being Ken Arrington and another Doug Prock and a couple other guys. They helped me along, especially with that recent trip that I took to Mexico. But same thing in Mexico, man. I was just finding coins and, wasn't finding any of the good stuff. But it's the flip side is I do really good in the parks and in some of the the private property places that we go to, some of the permissions. I especially enjoy the parks that we have here. Most of them were old plantations like orange groves, and they had houses and workers that worked on the plantations, and we pull dynamite stuff out of the ground down here.
Well, and I guess that's something interesting to think about is everybody thinks of just a park as being just a park, but that land is
Yeah,
much older than what it's now currently used for, you
yeah,
know?
that's true. That's true. That's true.
So do you are
Yeah.
you
So
do you run into like the Seminole War stuff or like early Spanish stuff or what kind of stuff are you pulling
mm,
aside from the modern pennies, jewelry, stuff like that?
yeah. Lately, we have this one park that we've been going to. It's really big, and it used to be in Orange Grove, and we're pulling a lot of things from the usually turn of the century, like late 1800s, um, 19 teens, and the 1920s, and so forth. Recently, we were at a park. Me and you might know Dwight Cologne from New Age Goonies.
Yeah.
We were at a park and we were just driving, just going from one park to another. And this guy, he's like a bloodhound. I was following him in a car, and he calls me. He goes, "Hey, did you see that?" And I was like, "What was it?" He goes, "There, we just passed a road, and the bricks are being torn out." He goes, "Let's loop back around." So we looped back around, and we found a street where they were pulling the bricks out, and they were going to lay asphalt, and the bricks had been laid in like the 1920s, the late 1920s. It hadn't been open since, and it was dirt roads before that. So we just right there, man, we just popped our gear out, and Matt, we were pulling up. We had V nickel surface finds. We
Wow.
pulled up a key date. I think it was in 1885 or something like that. A key date, V nickel right on the surface. Where the bricks had been pulled up, and people, when it was dirt road, people were dropping the stuff, and
That's the
we had
toughest
some
nickel to
amazing.
find there is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He showed. He goes out when we left that night. We did 7 hours after we found it. He said, man, Google that nickel. So I Googled it, and it was coming up like in the hundreds as far as like some of the prices going on eBay, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so we've been hitting that place pretty hard in a few parks. But the guys over at New Age Goonies, they're really good guys. Billy Keene and Gordon Madison. He puts out a fantastic paper every 2 weeks. And then, of course, the head cheese over there, Dwight Cologne. If you get a chance, check out some of his videos that he does, and he'd be an awesome guest for you.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
you said when you got the CTX that kind of changed things. Is that currently what you use?
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I use the CTX. I use the 6-inch coil because of some of the parks here. There's a lot of old scrap and so forth and so on. Um, but yeah, for the month of June, I pulled up. I think it was 11 or 12 in one park, 11 or 12 rings.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an amazing machine. It really is. For me, it's just lighted up. I've been going back to some of the parks I was using AT Pro in, and it's so much deeper and so much such better target identification.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's absolutely that's incredible. I currently hunt with a CTX. I use it mainly for my water machine. Um,
Oh wow.
but I can't get into the 6-inch coil because sometimes I feel like I'm just going to miss something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I understand.
Uh, but it's an incredible machine. So, talking about the CTX, do you have any special programs that you run? Do you run some of the different combined modes, or do you run two tone, Ferris, anything like that?
Well, right before going to, I've been using just generic, the stock programs, and Matt Tomaney over at Diggin with Maddie show. He recently went through the Mind Lab boot camp, so I
Hmm.
contacted him, and so he helped me with some of the settings. Um, but the real person who really, really kind of took me under his wing and is Ken Arrington from the Central Florida Metal Technic Club. He's a guru. I mean, he knows all the programs. He creates his own programs, and he created one. And I don't know all the bells and whistles of it, but with the tones, he's made the tones so where when you get hit silver or something like that, it really, really squeals. And the thing is an amazing how deep it can go.
History Resurfaced had a question, and he asked, "How was it to migrate from an AT Pro to the CTX?" No, I
Good
mean,
question. Okay, I used the Pro for about I guess 5 or 6 years it's been, and it's solid machine. You can you can easily learn the tones, and so by using it for so long, I knew these tones and it worked. But let me tell you an interesting story. Um, a couple guys from the club, and one of my best friends, Doug Prock. Doug Prock was, and I told him this story recently, and he got a big kick out of it. But he was going to the beach with a couple other guys, digging, seeing some coins that had been popping up, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, sure, no problem. So I went. So these guys all had CTXs, and I had my AT Pro on the beach. And hang on a second. So he says, yeah, you want to come with us? So I went with him. I couldn't reach the stuff that they were reaching. So after a while, I said, I think I'm going to head out. He says, no problem. So later on that day, I called him and said, hey, thanks for inviting me to the beach. I didn't find anything, but thanks. And you know what he said to me? He says, oh, no problem. He goes, we don't mind with the guys with the AT Pros tag along with us because we know they can't reach what we can reach. So he said that.
oh my
And
gosh.
pissed me off. It pissed me off. So you can tag along. So the next day I went out and I bought the CTX.
We're gonna
Yeah,
invite you, but we know you're
but
not gonna find anything. Real nice
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So,
So hang on.
uh-oh. I think he's got a little
Well, can you give me 1 minute? I want to grab something that I'd leave downstairs because of the location change. Can you give me like 30 seconds?
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I should
So,
do a giveaway or something like that, bro.
yeah, well, we'll work that out. So, while he runs and grabs what he has to do, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who stopped in the chat. I saw Mike Campbell, Barb Connell, Jamie Henley, Iffy Signals. Who else? Oh, Adventurers in History. Yeah. Oh, Barb had a birthday as well, so we'll say happy birthday, Barb. You're 1 year closer to dirt. Diggin Canucks in the channel. Jersey Jester, History Resurfaced, Little Red is in here. Um, so thanks, guys, for sticking this out. Man, we had some real technical problems today, but every time we do this, we learn a little bit more. So we're gonna get it all knocked out. Oh, Deus Digger's in here. Um, who else we got? Oh, there she is, Barb. Um, Wild Ben from South Wales, Cajun Beeping. So I hope everybody had a great week in metal detecting. Robert Diatley's in. All right. Um, so Jamie's instigating in the chat room. Plugmaster Ford's back. Digaholics here. Who else? Um, so there we go. We got him. We got him back. So
Sorry
would
about
you?
that.
No, you're good. Good. I mean, this is all part of the deal. So
Yeah. Okay.
um,
Got a couple things that I wanted to bring up, and number one being the charging cord for my cell phone.
oh yeah,
Um, but I brought up some things that I just want to show you real quick.
yeah,
I'd like to tell
absolutely.
you about. I'd tell you about one of my major inspiration for making the miniatures, if that's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of talk about that. So you're fairly. We'll say you're a young retired guy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
certainly much younger than Barb, who had her birthday. While you were gone, we gave her a little bit of a hard time. But so you
Right.
started like, were you always like an artistic guy, or?
No, man. No, as a matter of fact, the last time I took an art course was probably in high school, and that would be in about 1979, 1980. And no, it's just something that happened just kind of out of the blue. What I can tell you is that we did have I lost my oldest boy in the war in Afghanistan 5 years ago, and I needed to have something to help me as far as like something to keep me active, be therapeutic, and metal detecting fit that bill. And just it was actually last year around Christmas time. I wanted to make something special for my sister, my little sister. So I did, and I made her a diorama, and she loved it. It was like a Christmas time diorama, and she really encouraged me to pursue it and to continue with it. I wasn't going to do much after that, but I just continue to build dioramas. And right now I have about five or six over at Kelly Co. in Winter Springs, Florida. They're on display there. And it's just something that clicked, man. It just did. I can't explain it.
So you started with dioramas, and then you moved, which, I mean, the stuff that you do is honestly, it's incredible. There's nothing short of art, whether it's taking something that's scale and, and moving it down to a smaller um,
Right.
size. The dioramas are incredible. I mean, and they had to take an incredible amount of time to put all those things together.
Yeah, the dioramas, they could be because I really don't have a plan. I come up with a concept. Sometimes people give me ideas. Um,
And
and I
real quick,
just
Rust Belt
Yeah,
Relic asked quickly, could you just explain what a diorama is?
yeah, sure. Basically, it's a scene. It's in miniature, and most of my dioramas I did in 112 scale, and same thing with the miniatures, which means that a foot or 12 inches is broken down to 1 inch. So when you see 1 inch of a metal detector, um, that's equal to a foot. So it's all done in 112 scale, which is a normal scale to use in like railroad modeling. And basically, you create a scene. You just like I did one. It's called Permission, and it's an old house. It's on my website,
Mm-hmm.
mydetecting.com, and just go up top and look at the dioramas. It's called Permission. It's one of my favorites.
It's
And
my favorite
basically,
as
it's an old
well.
house. Yeah, it's an old house. It's boarded up, and you got about I think there's 4 or 5 metal detectors that are on the property through a rusted fence, and there's scrub grass, and they're just searching the property. There's the windows are boarded up, the shutters are falling off. There's a hole under the front porch, and there's actually a guy's legs is sticking out because he's under the porch, with his gear trying to find something. But it's a really good piece. It just kind of creates when you look at it. What I look for is somewhere that we all as detectives would love to be able to find and go and to just kind of get lost in it. It's almost like a fantasy piece. The same thing for my abandoned train station, which is actually one of my favorites. Abandoned train station is one of my later ones. So I actually started to incorporate lighting and sound in some of them. So on, there's a bunch of metal detectors, but when you push the button, you can actually hear the sound of a almost like a ghostly sound of a railroad, a train horn, and then the lights come on in front of the railroad station, and it's really and it makes noise and it's pretty cool. Yeah, they love it over at Kelly Co. The customers go crazy over them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
so the dioramas took a tremendous amount of time, and so now
Yeah,
you've moved
about
into
4 weeks.
4 weeks per diorama.
Yeah, for the bigger ones, they were about 4 weeks long.
So,
I also metal detect too, and I also have a family. So, but I'd work, a few hours almost every day. I'd work a couple hours every day.
Quarter Hoarder was asking. He wanted to see some more. They are on his website, which is mydetecting.com. I'm not gonna mess that one up for you. Um,
Yeah, and if you
so
go up to the if you go up to the bar, you'll see a link for dioramas, and there's a good dozen or so there. You'll be able to see.
So
But
then you
there,
moved into things
yeah,
like this, and I have to brag. When you told me you were going to build me one on the show, I had no idea you were going to build something. I mean, I knew that they were detailed, but to see the hat and then like the Lesh tools and the
mhm,
Profind, you know, the fact that most people can't see that, but the Profind actually has Profind like written on it. It has MindLab on the side of the headphones. The
yeah,
tremendous detail that's put into each one of these is really awesome. So
yeah.
to have the first GPX ever made, I'm really
Ever made.
excited to
Yeah.
have that. Um,
GPX number 01.
01. I'll have to write that on the back. Um,
Yeah. Let me tell you something real quick. And not too many people know this, but um, up until I started making the dioramas, right after I stopped making the dioramas, I actually switched over to doing little characters. But I used to wear glasses, and it's kind of difficult, doing all this with glasses, especially metal tech and all that stuff. But I actually went and I got Lasik surgery. It was called monovision LASIK. It's actually just one eye. And what that does is it basically turns your eye into almost like a friggin' microscope, man. I can just see things so close where I had to use glasses and magnifying glasses. Now I could just do it with the naked eye.
wow, that is awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that would be worth it there. Somebody asked for it again. It's mydetecting.com.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
throw all this information down in the description at the end of the video if you guys are interested in checking that stuff out. Um, so, how long does it take you to produce, um, say, something like this? Or actually, let's talk about this one. This one blows me away too. How long does
Which
it
one is
take to
that?
produce one of those?
They're actually fairly easy once you learn the techniques, and I'm not going to go into exactly specifically the material I use or the techniques, but I can tell you that it's a learning process. I used to do 100% by hand. Right before I made yours, I was doing 100% by hand, and then which especially the coils are difficult because all the different models have different coils. So what I did is I actually got a 3D printer, and right now the coils are basically the only part that I actually 3D print, but everything else, the shafts, the wiring, the armrests, the head units, they're all made by hand. But once you get the hang of it, I can bang out. I made two today, so I can usually do two a day. And what I'll do is like with your GPX, when I build one, I'll build two. So instead
Right.
of building one GPX, I'll build two in case something happens to one of to the first one. I have the second as a fallback. But in this case, they both came out real nice. So I sent you one and kept one for my display.
Yeah, I absolutely love it, and it will go in my relic case behind me for as long as I have. So, somebody in the comments asked, "Are they for sale?"
Yeah, no, no. And the main reason is there's many reasons, but one of the most important reasons, of course, is because I'm not under any kind of agreement with any mine with either MineLab or any other manufacturer. MineLab knows that I make them. They've contacted me, um, and things may go in a direction towards them, but it's art. For me, it's art. I don't sell them. If they were to start popping up on eBay, there's a good chance I would get a cease and desist letter from them because it's their material, it's their intellectual property, the logos, the colors, I mean the shapes, all that stuff belongs to them, and to make money without them being reimbursed, it is wrong. It's
Right,
copyright infringement.
right.
So I don't sell them, and I clearly mark like your package should be marked
Oh yeah,
art, not intended for sale.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I I don't sell them for that reason, but there's other reasons also. I mean, I enjoy doing it. It's something that's special to me. I really enjoy making them for people. I love the reactions that people get, and the comments that I read. It kind of gives me a buzz, And yeah, I think I'm a compliment junkie.
Yeah,
But you know,
yeah,
I
I
was
can see it.
real
I
quick.
mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely phenomenal. So, and for everybody who's here in the stream, what I have is this one right here. Gary has been kind enough since this is an AT Pro that he made. It's got everything. It's got the Garrett dig tool. It's got the older model Garrett Pro pointer, which is the best model in my opinion, and it's got
Yeah,
the AT Pro. It's got a hat. It's got the wireless headphones. Even the manual is down to the right size, and that's what really blows me away. But I tell you what, Gary has been generous enough. We are going to give this to someone in the chat. Um, so, oh, Adventures in Dirt's here. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Gary pick a number. We have 21 people in
mhm.
the chat or currently watching. If everyone picks a number, please don't pick it twice. Gary will pick a number 1 through 21. That means everybody gets a chance at it. We'll we'll get you a really awesome miniature AT Pro. Whether you
Okay.
use an AT Pro or not, I'm sure you can appreciate how awesome this is.
Yeah.
So you got a number one. Let's do through 22.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see the list of names. I don't have anything open.
Yeah, you're good. What
Let's
we'll
see.
do is we'll let everybody get a few moments in there. Little
Okay.
Red's gonna have to pick another number,
In the
and then
meantime, let me tell you a quick funny story. I said about not selling my material, but I did sell one because I was really interested to see what it would do. So what I made was I took an Altoids tin and I made a CTX travel case. I
oh,
had foam. I had it cut out. I had all the coils and the manual and the Go Find, the Pro Find. I had everything, in the little seat. You opened it up and it looked like one of the travel cases these guys have, and it was pretty badass. So I threw it on eBay because I was curious as to what it would do, and it sat for a couple days after. But on the fifth day, two guys got into a bidding war and it quickly shot up. When it ended, I think it was at like $67,
oh my
which I was
gosh!
pretty amazed. Yeah, I was pretty amazed for a little Altoids tin, $6. But the funny part is, you remember that guy I told you that told me about tagging along
Right,
at the beach with my AT Pro?
right.
He bought it. He's one of my best friends, and he actually bought it. And I said to him, "Man, what are you doing?" He goes, "Man, it's because he has C-Tex. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to have it." So he did. So anyway, that went to my friend Doug Prock, and he just loves it. He loves it.
Yeah. So I tell you what, since we've got a bunch of
Yeah.
guesses in, um, give me there. We got a couple more folks watching right now. What
Okay.
1 to 27? What's your number? What you got?
Let's go with me. I'm gonna go with five.
Lucky number 5.
Yeah.
Whoever's
Penta
closest.
18's
What do we got? All right. So I've got Wild Ben and Jamie Henley, and I don't have a 5 anywhere in there. Nope.
Okay. You want me to keep going?
Um, let's do. We got 29 people in the stream, so
Okay.
we'll try it one more time because I want somebody to get it right on. To those guys,
All right.
I'll send Wild Ben a T-shirt, and Jamie Henley, I think he'll get a T-shirt too. So
Okay.
whoever's in the stream, if you guys want to guess 1 through 30, everybody give me a number. Um, Gary's gonna have one in his head, and we'll knock it out. Rust Belt, I think the quarter hoarder maybe had got that one again. So all right, there we go. 17, 18, 19, 11. There we go. So you're involved in a bunch of different clubs as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Uh, yeah, I'm a member of the Central Florida Metal Detecting Club. Up in kind of north central Florida. Um, they were formed in 1972. It's Florida's oldest club and one of the largest in the nation. And the guys who run it and have run it are awesome people. Um, Alan James is the outgoing president, and he's created just an awesome organization. Current president is Carolyn Harwick. Um, they do a lot of things with the community, different clubs, boys clubs and girls clubs, and summer camps. They go and teach the kids how to metal detect. And recently, they're helping to rescue a lot of relics from an old naval air station that's getting ready to be paved over, made into a parking lot. And they've been pulling all kinds as fast as they can and try to beat the bulldozers. They've been pulling all kinds of good old relics out from that area. Yeah, so it's a great organization. Jim Fielding, he's another guy. He's the current vice president. Works really hard. The other organization you guys probably heard of, it's New Age Goonies. I
Hmm.
mentioned them earlier. Fantastic set of guys that recently went to Tampa and worked with the Boys and Girls Club in Tampa. Same thing, teaching them how to metal detect, and they organized a donation of sending them real old relics and Civil War bullets, and they were giving these kids this stuff, and then having the kids research all their things on their phone. But awesome set of guys. I not only are am I are they friends, but we detect quite often together. We're real close.
That's awesome. All right, hit me with another number.
All right, let's go with I'm gonna go with my favorite football player number 11,
I
Atlanta
don't see
Falcons.
it. Ace Digger Metal Detecting. You have won yourself a absolutely awesome miniature uh, AT Pro here. So congratulations, buddy. I tell you what, if you send me an email, um, it will be in my about section. Send me an email, and I'll get you this sent out. Ace Ace Adventure Metal Detecting. So cool.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
yeah,
Good
I'm sure
job.
he's going to be happy about that. So since you're there, my wife happens to be in Orlando. Maybe stop in and see her. She's out
Oh,
gallivanting the country with her mother. So
yeah.
uh,
Good for her. She going to Disney?
yeah, she's going to Disney, and who knows? She'll probably end up in California by the time she's done.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, so you did the we talked about the different stuff, but so you do a Mexico trip. So I'm just going to ask you just
yeah.
absolute bucket list questions. One thing you want to
Okay.
find ever.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm something is every once in a while I'll find old coins. I'm not a coin guy. I'm not a coin guy. I really don't really care too much about coins. But what I do like is I like old toys. Recently I found a um, the real old yellow taxi, or actually I didn't find it. I was with a guy. We found a bottle in a toy dump, and he actually pulled it out and he gave it to me, which was awesome. And I ended up trading him something for it straight up. But yeah, so for me, it's old toys. I would have to say that if I could find anything, um, I'd love to find like some of the old like Roy Rogers cat pistols, the
Uh,
old cat pistols. I have a few, but most of them are pretty busted up.
yeah.
But if I could find a pristine one, something like that, it'd be really nice.
One place in the world you could go and metal detect. Where would you go?
Oh, good question. If I can go anywhere, I would say it's definitely stateside. I would have to say like probably something historic, like maybe where someplace where I used to live, like maybe out in Virginia, one of the old battlefields out in Virginia. A lot of those lands are locked up right now. You
Yeah.
can't get on their property, and if you do find it, a lot of states, even Florida, has a relic law. Um, but yeah, I would have to say, a nice Civil War battle site would be pretty awesome.
Well, if you
But
you
yeah,
happen to make it up to Virginia, I can make that happen for you.
oh,
That's
that'd be
the
awesome. I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a place to stay, and I'll take you digging.
Okay.
We'll at least get you a bullet in your pocket. Um,
All right, brother.
so, um, you know, anything else you like to share? You know, I we suffered through a little bit of a technical difficulty this evening, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, what I can tell you is last week we were at one of the parks I was telling you about, and I was by myself that day, and I had been going pretty strong. It was really hot out, and I found a real nice ring. It was a very old piece of property, and I found a big old silver ring, and had a big turquoise stone in it, and it was all it looked antique and it looked handmade, but it was absolutely brilliant, and you could tell it was old. Well, I took it back to my van and I was cleaning it and I dropped it. What I didn't know, I was parked over a storm drain,
oh my
and
god.
it went down into the storm drain. And I was exhausted, but I'm on my hands and knees and I'm trying to reach this thing. It's about a good 5 feet down, but I couldn't see it. It was gone. So I tried pulling up the grate, but it weighed about 500 pounds, so it didn't happen. Anyway, I went back a few days later with two of my friends. I mentioned them earlier, Doug and Ken, and we actually were in the middle of this public park. We brought big pry bars and cargo straps, and we got the grate up. And my buddy actually went down in and looked around until he found it, and he pulled it out of that storm drain. And it's gorgeous, man. It's just gorgeous.
That's awesome. Somebody said, tell us
Yeah.
about detecting mobile.
Oh, my search mobile. A while back I had a 2017 Chevy Malibu, and I had all my gear in the back, and it was trashed out going back and forth to the parks and so forth. So I talked to my wife. I made her a deal. I said, can I, if I give my 2017 to one of my sons who recently got his license, can I get anything I want? So she said, sure. So I found a Ford Transit Connect van, which was barren. It was just a commercial van, no back windows. But I got it tricked out pretty good. I got I put shelving in there and cabinets and lighting. I got a cleaning station. I got fresh running water. I got a small refrigerator. I mean, you open it up and all my gears is everywhere storage. Everything's up on like pegboard. It's pretty cool. It's pretty badass. But yeah, so I take that and yeah, it's my search mobile.
Keep all the dirt in one spot. It sounds like you just need a place to take a nap, and then you could just move out in that
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
thing. Oh man. So yeah, it's that's awesome, man. I think that's probably the other relic hunter's dream is to have that vehicle you could just
Yeah,
trash around and who cares
exactly,
about it.
man.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I could change coils. I could take a shower. I could do pretty much anything I want.
that's
Hey, before
all.
you let me go, how about you let me do a giveaway?
Sure, if you want to do that, absolutely.
All right. Well, what I got is I'm going to give them a choice. Whoever wins will have a choice of either this. I started making these pedestals to put the gear on. This is a sweet little AT Max. I just made this today. It's fresh out of the shop. AT Max, and the other choice was going to be this sweet little CTX.
Dude,
There you go, get an idea what it looks like.
that thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's got the stock coil on it. And when I make my gear, I actually use calipers and I use a ratio scale. And so when I measure, like I measure the coil um, and break it down, it's all dimensionally correct, which means it's an exact 112 scale of the CTX. Anyway, they'll have the choice of either of these, and what we'll do is I'll pick a winner, and you can get their address, and later on give it to me, and I'll get it out in the morning mail. How's
Okay.
that sound?
That sounds great. And like that absolutely floors me. Like that amount of attention to detail to make them the perfect, the true exact dimensions are unreal. Um,
Thanks, I appreciate it. Sometimes when I'm working on them, I just kind of get into a zone, and I don't look at it as something that I'm giving away. I look at it as something I'm creating, And even though it's going to somebody I don't even know, I want it to be perfect, and I want them to be amazed when they see it. And whoever does win it, I'd really appreciate it if you either do an unboxing video like Matt did, or even just take a picture and post it somewhere where people can see it. I'd appreciate that.
All right, so what are we gonna give this thing away?
All right. Um, Let me think. Okay, let's just go and make it simple. Just go ahead and have everybody pick a number. Everybody pick a how many people we got, Matt?
Looks like we got 29 right now.
All right. Everybody pick a number between and and I guess 1 and 29,
Well,
right? Or one and
let's
50. You just
do 1 to 50, and then
okay.
whoever's closest.
Closest without going over.
Yeah, Price is Right rules.
There we go. All right. So 1 to 50, and whoever closest without going over, and if there's duplicate numbers, whoever writes it first, um, will get a choice of either the AT Max or the CTX.
Cool, and we'll give everybody say 40 more seconds to put it in. Um,
Okay.
so, do you have any sponsors?
I don't. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking for some. I have my website, but it's a hobby website, and I don't sell anything, as we mentioned. But I do have overhead costs. I got production costs with the material, the shipping, and the paints. I use pretty high quality paint, especially on this type of material that I work on. And so I would be very interesting in finding someone or a company or a website who'd be willing to do a limited sponsorship, or just help me offset some of the production costs. I'm more as a matter of fact, I had a long conversation with um, Mark Hoover today, and he's going to kind of try to provide me some guidance and maybe take me under his wing and maybe to help me out.
Well, maybe we can work you up something with Patreon or something like that. That's always a good option. And I think
Yeah,
probably
that'd
a
be
lot of
cool.
my folks would be interested in giving you a couple bucks a month to help out with some of that stuff.
That'd be awesome.
So, all right. So what do we? Looks like we've got enough entries. We got 30 folks on. What number we got?
All right, let's see. Let's something in the middle. Let's go with number 24.
24.
Closest without going.
Looks like I see a winner in there. See who's first.
Yeah, the first 24.
Yep. Looks like Colonial Fiend. He's a winning son of a gun. Colonial Fiend is the winner. He also was asking about commission work.
Mm.
He said I'll give him your information. Maybe he said he wants a colonial diorama, so maybe you guys can work something out.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
will. Yeah, he's going to be out of the giveaways for a while. Second week in a row, he's won something. But I have
Oh,
Colonial
yeah.
Fiend's information from last week, and I will pass that right along to you.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations. So, what
Okay, sounds good.
since we're here, there we go. Man,
Oh, find Matt.
yeah,
Ask him which does he want the AT or does he want the CTX?
CTX or the AT Pro or AT Max? Well, he'll answer that, I'm sure.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I'm sure.
so, well, awesome, man. I know we started a little bit late, but I think
Yeah.
we picked it up and we made up for it. In the end, he said he'd like to have the CTX. Um,
Okay.
it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Look at that thing. That thing is like bright, shiny too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's
All right.
that that is cool. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks.
I
Thanks, man.
I would like to thank everybody for sticking with us through all of our technical difficulties at the beginning. But other than that, you guys make sure you go over and check out his website, which is mydetecting.com. Gary, do you have any other social media, Instagram? You can get in touch with them through the New Age Goonies as well on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. No, right now, actually, I don't have any other accounts, and one of my youngest sons, he said, "Dad, you need to go on Instagram." And I was like, all right, explain what it is. He did, and he actually went on, and he owns the rights to my detecting on Instagram. He actually looked it up and he said it was available. So he grabbed it and he said, "Dad, when you're ready to start, going on Instagram, I'll go ahead and give it to you."
Yeah, yeah, it's you need to jump on that. Instagram's a great thing. So sounds like pretty soon he'll be up on Instagram on my detecting. You've been an absolutely fantastic guest, Gary. Thank you so much for
Thanks.
coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, thank you, man. It's been
All right.
fantastic.
All right.
Um,
I appreciate you having me. Sorry. Maybe some of the storms we're having here in Florida might have had something to do with, our problems earlier, but I really enjoyed it, and I wish you the best of luck. I've been watching some of your past shows, and you're doing a great job, man. Just keep it up. You're one of those people in the hobby who, again, is not so much concerned with promoting himself, but promoting the hobby that he does. You're doing exactly, you know, what I appreciate. The people that I make these things for is guys who, are just one of the cogs and one of the wheels in the hobby that just makes it fun to do. And I appreciate what you do.
well, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. That means a
All
absolute tremendous amount.
right, brother.
So, so again, man, thanks for coming, and I'm sure we will see a lot of you all over the internet in the coming
Okay.
months, and really excited about everything else. Um,
All right, brother.
so, all right, thank you, Gary.
Take care.
So, absolutely incredible guest. Blown away. You guys go out and check out his really awesome stuff that he does on his my metal detecting uh, or mydetecting.com. Check him out on New Age Goonies. Look Gary up on Facebook. Super nice guy. I got to speak with him a little bit yesterday, and I'd like to thank everybody for sticking it out. Next week, we will have Bruce Atwell from Virginia Diggers. I hope everybody gets out this week and is able to go out and find something incredible. Have a great, safe, happy week. And we will see you next Wednesday on the Gone Diggin' live stream from the Relic Room. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.